There was a time when her face defined an era, soft eyes, wind-swept hair, that quiet ache behind her smile. Ali MacGraw wasn't just a star, she was the embodiment of cinematic innocence, the girl next door who broke hearts with a whisper. Love Story didn't just make her famous, it made her immortal. Audiences wept as Jenny Cavallari, the doomed Radcliffe student whose final breath became a cultural epitaph. Love means never having to say you're sorry. But behind that line, behind that luminous performance, lived a woman whose real story was far more devastating than any script could capture. Long before the red carpets and magazine covers, Ali's world was fractured. Born in Bedford Village, New York, her childhood home pulsed with tension. Her father's alcoholism, her parents' bitter clashes, the suffocating silence that followed every slammed door. She learned early how to shrink herself, how to disappear into the background to avoid becoming another casualty of chaos. Escape came through beauty, first modeling under the sharp eye of Diana Vreeland, then film, where her debut in Goodbye Columbus turned heads and opened doors. But it was Robert Evans, Paramount's golden boy, Hollywood's most powerful producer, who saw something deeper in her. He didn't just cast her. He believed in her. And in 1970, he handed her the role that would change everything. Love Story wasn't just a hit, it was a tidal wave. Over $100 million at the box office. A phenomenon that turned Ali into America's sweetheart overnight. She married Evans in 1969, gave birth to their son Joshua in 1971, and for a fleeting moment it looked like she had it all: fame, fortune, family, love. But destiny doesn't knock politely, it kicks down the door. Enter Steve McQueen. 12 years older. A legend carved from rebellion and gasoline. The king of cool didn't walk onto sets, he owned them. Motorcycle gloves, leather jackets, that half smirk that said he didn't give a damn what you thought. When Evans cast Ali opposite him in The Getaway, he didn't just offer her a role, he handed her a detonator. She hesitated. Not because of her toddler son. Not because of the long shoot in Texas. But because she already knew. I knew I was going to get in some serious trouble with Steve, she later confessed. And oh, how right she was. Chemistry was instant. Electric. Unavoidable. Queen didn't flirt, he magnetized. Men admired him. Women leaned in. Children stared. He moved through rooms like gravity shifted around him. And Ali, despite her vows, despite her life, despite her better judgment, fell. Hard. Their affair ignited on set, whispered about by crew, splashed across tabloids, celebrated by studios hungry for scandal-fueled ticket sales. By year's end, she filed for divorce from Evans, the man who gave her stardom, the father of her child. Hollywood gasped. Betrayal doesn't come with better optics. They married in 1973. Cameras flashed. Champagne flowed. The fairy tale was sealed, or so it seemed. Behind the Malibu sunsets and beachfront barbecues, the rot had already begun to set in. Queen demanded control. First, a prenup, no alimony, no claims, nothing. Then the ultimatum: quit acting. He was the biggest movie star in the world, she said, and he didn't want me to work. So she walked away. At the absolute peak of her power, she silenced her own voice to keep his love. She became cook, maid, mother, shadow, anything he needed as long as it didn't threaten his ego. His jealousy was suffocating. A glance at another man? A late-night phone call? A smile at a party? All grounds for suspicion. Yet while he policed her every move, he roamed freely, flirting, drinking, rumored to be bedding co-stars and strangers alike. His childhood wounds, abandonment, neglect, distrust, festered into adult cruelty. He drank heavily, dabbled in drugs. And Ali? She followed him down. Alcohol became her anesthesia. Isolation her new normal. The house that once echoed with laughter now hummed with silence. Thick, heavy, broken only by slammed doors and muttered accusations. By 1976, the illusion was threadbare. Queen was spiraling, disappearing for nights, returning hollow-eyed and volatile. Ollie, desperate for connection, began seeking comfort elsewhere. What started as passion had curdled into mutual betrayal, resentment, and quiet despair. In 1977, she dared to speak up. "I want to act again," she told him. Not a request. A reclamation. His response? Cold. Final. "In that case, we are filing for divorce." 5 words that shattered the last fragile shard of hope. She took the role in Convoy. He walked out. No turning back. Their divorce finalized in 1978. 2 years later, McQueen was gone, taken by mesothelioma at 50, a cruel twist for a man who spent his life outrunning death on screen. For Ollie, grief was layered. Sorrow for the man she loved, anger for the man who broke her, regret for the years lost to his orbit. "I wish we had both grown old sober," she said decades later. A eulogy not for a legend, but for what might have been. Alone at 41, widowed in spirit if not in law, Ollie faced the wreckage. Hollywood had moved on. Offers dried up. Roles felt hollow. She tried Dynasty in '84, but the magic was gone, replaced by typecasting and indifference. Worse, the drinking had become a prison. By the early '90s, she hit rock bottom. And then, redemption. Betty Ford Center. Rehab. Recovery. 30 years sober and counting. She wrote moving pictures, raw, unflinching, a memoir that didn't glamorize pain but honored it. Readers wept. Critics praised. Survivors saw themselves in her pages. She left LA for Santa Fe, traded premieres for paintbrushes, scripts for soil, spotlights for stillness. Yoga at dawn. Meditation in silence. Gardens she tended with her own hands. Animals that asked for nothing but love. Friends who anchored her, including Ryan O'Neal, her Love Story co-star, with whom she reunited onstage in 2016 for Love Letters. Their chemistry hadn't faded, but this time it wasn't for the cameras. It was for them. For closure. For healing. Now 85, Ollie speaks without flinching. Yes, Steve was magnetic. Yes, she knew trouble was coming. Yes, there were moments of pure joy, laughter on the beach, quiet mornings, stolen glances that still made her heart skip. But there were also nights of terror, days of erasure, years of swallowing her truth to keep peace in a war zone. "I'm not a victim," she insists. "There were many times that were just wonderful and many times that were just ghastly." She never remarried. Never needed to. Instead, she built a life on her own terms, partnering with IBU, a collective empowering female artisans worldwide, designing clothing that celebrates resilience, not submission. For a woman who once surrendered her career to please a man, this is revolution. This is rebirth. So here's the question we rarely ask about icons like Ollie MacGraw. When you've given up everything for love, your career, your voice, yourself, how do you find your way back? Share your thoughts in the comments. I'm curious to know what you think.